All right, you guys, we are back with part two of the intermission show. Ryzen 26, of course, just had four more fights to add on to our, what was it, six total. So much happening. I can't keep track of it all almost. But, man, a good four that we just witnessed, Pat. I think got some good stuff right there. Let's jump right into it. What was your highlight out of these four that we just saw? All finishes.
Yeah, I mean, all finishes. I'd have to go honestly with the last fight we just saw.
Yep.
I mean, that was so slick, like beyond slick, with how good that was. I mean, if you look at that finish, that came out of nowhere. It was so slick, so transition, just beautiful work there. You gotta love it. What about you?
Yeah, man, it's hard to go against Naoki, just considering too that it was against Yuki and seeing him do that to him as beautifully as he did, and looking very sharp on the feet before things hit the ground too, which was where I was feeling that his safest bet was to keep the fight, and we saw that it was looking fine there, but we knew he could hang on the ground too, but it was like more dangerous because Yuki's figured on the ground as well. But man, the guy impressed. He has definitely really come into his own since leaving the UFC. And I mean, arguably shouldn't have left the UFC in the first place, as we've discussed in the past. But like 23 years old still, 4-fight winning streak now, getting better and better every fight, obviously. Guy's earned a title shot. I think it's totally justifiable now.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't give him a title shot. And yeah, shout out to Steve. Again, gotta love how Naoki went from an absolute killer to sheepishly adorable in about 5 seconds. Yeah, I mean, he just was like, yeah, I don't know what to say. Dude, you just murked him. And now you're just acting like, oh, I don't know what to say. I mean, come on now. That's, it would have, the only thing that would have capped it off for me is if he had a little bit of cup noodle in his hand.
Of course.
If he just eating a cup noodle. Wouldn't have said a word, just eating a cup.
He didn't even sit on his beanbag, did he?
No, he didn't. It was amazing. And if you're just joining us, welcome to part two of the Ryzen 26 Intermission Show. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're having a bunch of fun here. We got the biggest fights coming up. We will look at that because I think we're gonna have some time to preview those.
Yeah.
But there is one fight we got to go all the way back to the first part of the show for because we didn't get enough time to get it in, and that is Kana Sakura getting the win over I never say her name right, Drake.
Aishimizu.
Aishimizu. And that's
just say
I. I always want to say AI or
Yep.
AI. It's like nope, it's Aishimizu. So yes, that fight. And Steve's bringing up Shibatar, which we will get to that part as well. But Kana Sakura got that done. It was a very close fight. I thought she deserved the win. I think she's still going to get the title shot just because of where she is. Drake, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree because the only other option I think you would have right now, aside from whoever won this fight, would be Rena, who in a weird spot now hasn't fought at atomweight in I think her last 5 fights, right? And assuming it depends on what happens with who wins in the title fight, which we will talk about, because Ayaka Hamasaki, someone very close to her, somebody she has said she probably will not fight unless it's a very special occasion like a retirement for either of them, and then maybe a title on the line. You add both of those, that's a rare situation, and seems like the only thing, or if they were in a tournament or something where they had to do it, right? So that would be the only other person, and you look at Rena now being on a 4-fight, not Rena, Kana being on a 4-fight winning streak, and despite, this not being her best performance out of that bunch, it's like, well, still, it's a good winning streak against. She gave her first loss. Like, yeah, she still totally deserves it. I mean, you could have argued she should have got it right now, as opposed to doing this matchup. But yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm not super surprised that it went this way. I thought it would be a little bit more action packed and everything, but Kana looked very good in the striking early on. I was kind of felt like she was feeling out how the fight was going to go, and then started to really attack with her wrestling as the second and third round came on, of course, where she had most of her success. And then it was super close, man. I was kind of leaning towards edging it in favor of until like those last 20 seconds when Kana was dropping some serious ground and pound on her as she was going for attacking the legs, with like the single. I think that really edged it out. It was that close in my opinion. But yeah, the right person won, and still title shot worthy, I would say. So a very important fight, in terms of the division and everything. So
yeah, very important fight. We had to come back to it. Had to go that route. And very quickly to wrap up the question that we asked in the first part of the show, did he tap or not?
yeah.
Well, guess what? We have an actual answer. So depending on what you said, you either got it right or wrong, because he definitely tapped. There's no doubt about it. They went back, they looked at the replay. I think that's the right call. You give Shibutar the win. I know Steve's happy about it. I know he's just ecstatic. Drake, you think this is the right call? Yes?
Well, I'm just happy that I still have some decent vision left to have seen that. So, yeah, I'm happy that our eyes weren't deceiving us there. So good for Shibutar. Absolute L of an L for kickboxing tonight. As a whole.
Oh my God, kickboxing just Let's go ahead. You know what? Let's just dive right into that. Oh, God. Well, first let's talk about Tokuro versus Oda, because I think that's we need to address that one. I mean, we both said rapid fire. Who we got to pick? We both went with Oda. Tokuro went out there and just proved us both wrong. He decided that Father Time was not for him, not a friend of his. Didn't want to go ahead and let that happen. It just, I mean, what a performance by Tokuro here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think Ota looked that bad either, especially for first time fighting in MMA and everything. But the veteran savvy of Tokuro was just a little bit too much in this, and maybe you could say the size played a little bit into it too, but I don't think so. I think it was just maybe the styles clash in how Ota decided to play to his strengths, as you would imagine. Unlike, let's say, Sudario, who I guess fought smarter in a sense by not utilizing his sumo abilities and went with the striking against Minoa Man. So it's funny too, because like this has been Tokuro's thing where he's spoiled the party for these great wrestlers in the past before. There's nothing, especially recently in his career, not super recent because he's been out of MMA for a while, but been very, very active in grappling, plenty of grappling matches over the last so many years, as opposed to Minoa Man, who took mostly some time off. So maybe that was a bad comparison, but we went rapid fire. Don't hate us for that. He looked very good. Landed a sweet up kick, and then there were some flying knees in there. That was from Oda, I believe, if I remember correctly. But the armbar, just like gnarly stuff.
And as Steve pointed out, Tokuro was fantastic, patient in all stages of the fight. Yeah, just a beautiful performance by him, and one of those things where people debuted in MMA not doing so hot tonight. Let's just go ahead and move right into, oh man, this fight. Hiromoto versus Hakuwara had a lot of hype into a lot of.
It was my sleeper
between the two. It was your sleeper, and it had a lot of animosity coming into this fight. And this one, I'm going to tell you right now, this one's going to win my Cup Noodle Award of this intermission break, just because. You had Hiromoto, especially with the middle finger roll up, the old, as his name's getting out. And then Hakuwara goes in there and is just relentless with the takedowns. I mean, Trig was talking about, him possibly gassing. I thought he was going to gas. I mean, the pace, he's definitely breathing hard. He went 4 or 5 takedowns back to back. I mean, Ren did not stay on the ground. I mean, he kept getting up. He just kept finding ways to get up. And then eventually got down, and Hakuwara is gassed, but he's still landing some ground and pound, gets him out, does all of that, almost gets the choke at the end of the first round, and then you wondered, does he have enough in the tank to finish it in round 2, or is he going to get boxed up? And then goes out there and just smashes him, just takes that question, says, yeah, I got plenty of gas left, and gets the win here. Did this fight surprise you at all? Well, tell me, this was your sleeper. What did you think about it?
So it's funny because going into this fight, we all expected this was guaranteed finish, guaranteed fireworks. And within like half a second, these two both land like right hands. And Hakuwara drops like a knee from the one that he ate. And then just immediately afterwards goes for the double, like ridiculous start, But I imagine this fight going where they would probably slug it out for a bit. Hiromoto was always going to get the best of him, and it would just be a matter of if Hakuwara decided to fight smartly by going to the ground, because he will find out quickly that he's not as sharp or technical of a striker as Hiromoto is, despite, both of their limited grappling backgrounds. But Hagiwara has more to his, and has been working more specifically on his jiu-jitsu recently, after, all of his losses have been like submission in MMA so far. So that's something he has been working on. And instead of waiting to maybe take shots from Hiromoto, he said, fuck it, let's get this thing to the ground right now. I'm going to beat your ass, dude. And that's what he did. He fucked him up a bit. The knees on the ground, I was like, oh, he's going to like pop his head. He's just really smashing him with those. And we're seeing some welts on his forehead and everything. But yeah, that was absolutely genius game plan by Hagiwara to not play around in the stand-up for really any time at all. So a fantastic win for him. And I mean, it felt good seeing by his reaction right afterward.
Yeah, he got the sword out and everything. I mean, if you're just joining us, welcome. Rizin 26, Intermission Show number 2. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you already have it. We're trying to get to that 1K. We want to do it with Rizin.
Get in the elite 10%.
Hit that notification, get the elite 10%. Get it, become elite. Get it. You want to be elite? You want to wear cup noodles on live streams one day? This is how you do it. We just covered here Hiromoto versus Hagiwara. Then we got to talk about, Kyle Aguilar versus Barkiopi. Oh my gosh, what a fight, man! Now that is a back and forth. Now you know what? I don't normally give out 2 cup noodles during intermission breaks, but I'm gonna.
It's New Year's.
Yes, it's New Year's, and you know what? This gets my chicken. That was my beef cup noodle last fight, but this is my chicken cup noodle right there. Because what a fight! I mean, I didn't think this fight was gonna end this way. Especially with that choke. I break it down for me, Drake, because I need your expertise here to rewind this.
Man, it was wild, for as long as it lasted. Very fun. One of the more fun fights I think we've got so far tonight, just because it was one of those things where pretty clear cut. Kleber Koike, one of the best BJJ practitioners in all of featherweight worldwide. And coming into this, not many are going to be able to hang with him on the ground there. And so on the feet, we were like, okay, Kyle's got his best chance. But early on, there were some points where it did go to the mat very briefly. He was doing fine, defending very well. And then on the feet, back and forth, very, very good kicks exchange, good shots from each of them. And then all of a sudden, Kleber lands the right hand and, puts him down, and he follows it up, just needs one opening, snatches up the Darce choke in. Man, that was tight. He knew that it was golden as he's talking to the camera like a madman, and puts poor Mr. Yamamoto to sleep. What a finish. Yeah, we're just looking at the camera as Aguilar is just, fighting for his life, right? Just trying to breathe, trying to get that fight to hands, and it's just beautiful work. Beautiful work there. They got emotional afterward. Totally understand it. Just you gotta love it. This is why we watch Rizin on New Year's Eve. It's stuff like that. It's a looking into the camera, smiling while you've locked up a choke while some poor dude is trying to break out of it. That's what we're doing here. It's amazing. Let us know in the comments what your fight was for this first intermission break. We'll go ahead and do last intermission break too. What's your favorite fight so far? And then we'll go ahead and we'll look at some questions. We'll answer them, and we also need to preview the next fights coming up, because these are the big ones. The big ones. All right.
So if you're just joining us, again, we've covered basically everything up until right now. Let us know what your fight of the night is so far, what you're looking forward to, who should win the beef cup noodle and chicken cup noodle award, because that's what we're here doing. Like and subscribe button. All right, Drake, I'm going to throw it over to you because we don't have any comments yet. Drop those comments.
Yeah, get in.
Don't have any yet in terms of the favorite fights. Looking forward, Drake, for the next 5. I want to know what's your sleeper of this last batch of fights.
Okay, so the sleeper pick here. I mean, It's
Doesn't
I
have to be a
guess
sleeper.
yeah, well, the obvious fight, right? The main event. That's the one that we're all looking forward to the most. So yeah, um, I guess I don't know. They're all super interesting except for the co-main event. The co-main event, honestly, let's just talk about that really quickly because it's tension, and tension fights usually not interesting to preview or anything because he's reached this point, in my opinion, where until we see him lose or have a controversial decision or anything, you cannot imagine him losing. It's just something that doesn't cross your mind until we actually see something. So, we're going to pick him. We're going to pick him no matter how good any of his opponents are. And like Kumandoi here, who he's fighting, who is a legit, can't talk, it is early in the morning, a legit Muay Thai practitioner, has plenty of experience under his belt. I think he's ranked top 10 pound for pound, but he's fighting, the prodigy child, greatest, kickboxer of all time. So that's what that is, right? That's just what that is. That's a potential general showcase that we're seeing with tension for big number 40, if my research is correct. Win number 40. So that's that. I don't think you have anything to add to that, Pat. If you do.
Yeah, no, I don't. I really don't. I think you pretty much surmised it. Shout out to Shingo.
Yes.
Joining the chat. Appreciate the big man himself doing that. We got Andres with that best move of the night, pro wrestling, rope running. Love that. Boy. Yes. What a move. How funny would it have been if he had done that and then Hiroya just kicks him.
I thought that was going to happen.
I thought it was too. I really thought, as he's doing the rope, Hiroya's just going to be just knock him straight out. That would have been amazing. It would have been incredible. Steve's got fight of the night so far was Yoshinari versus I can't pronounce names. Well, so I'm gonna, there you go. The king himself. Yeah, I mean, that did go.
That was performance of the night. I wouldn't say that's fight of the night. Yoshinari looked sensational. Those elbows, I mean, chef's kiss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, just stuff. Straight up beautiful. And Steve also bringing up something that we have not talked about yet. Fireball Kid, Takanori Gomi.
That's what I was headed towards next.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you lead the way then.
All right. Takanori Gomi versus Koji Tanaka. Very interesting matchup that we have here because of all the unique rules that are happening with it, the size difference, all of this. Essentially, it's a boxing match with spinning back fists, with kickboxing time in terms of rounds and 3-minute rounds, 3 rounds. That's essentially the best way I could put it without describing all the details, I suppose. Takanori Gomi versus Koji. It's something, dude. I don't know really what to expect from it because of the size difference, but we all know that Takanori Gomi, unfortunately, a little over the hill. Congratulations to him. That Melvin Gillard fight. That was his last fight in 2018, I believe. Rizin 11. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal fight. Great knockout win for him that snapped a 6-fight losing streak. But it was against Melvin Gillard, so take that with what you will. He should have just ridden off into the sunset with that, and I guess he still kind of is because this matchup is very unique, right? But taking on a smaller guy, an incredibly durable guy in Koji. If we look back to his tension fight the last time out, I mean, man, tension threw the kitchen sink at him and just about the whole house, and he did not go down. It was very impressive. So it'll be interesting to see if he can take a bigger man's punches and a man who is notoriously hard hitting for his division. But at the same time, it's like, even though Koji is a lot smaller, he's better. He's more in his prime right now. Just everything is in favor in terms of currently in their careers. So he should be able to still beat this bigger guy.
I mean,
even though he doesn't have his kicks, right? It's
yes. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I don't want this to end up being, especially how Minnow Man fight went. I really don't want this to end up being like that, where we see Gomi go out there and just like, if that happens, I'm just balling up in this cup noodle cup and I'm just hanging out and just, hanging my head. Because I don't want to see Gomi get out there and get starched. I want it to be a good fight. But as you mentioned, I mean, this is not some can. This is a guy with a notorious chin who ate a bunch of shots from tension. Not just
People
anybody. People don't do that. So, I can't imagine Gomi at 43 is going to be able to put him out, even though he is bigger. So I think in a best case scenario for Gomi, he gets a decision here. But a worst case, I feel like we're looking at another minimum man fight, which, again, I don't want to see Gomi go out like that, but we'll see. Let us know what you think. If you think Gomi's going to turn back the clock, get a decision, or albeit a finish, because he is a bigger dude, that'd be sensational.
Well, let me correct you real quick. I do not think that they will do a winner if it goes to decision. So
okay.
There is that.
Okay,
so.
That's good to know. Okay. Yeah, and I like Satayama Superfan. We are to post Hiroya versus that. You know what? That is a great point. We are there.
That's comment of the night.
Yes, yeah. So far, I mean, Shingo's chiming in and saying decisions will be made. Okay,
this is new. This is why you're here, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. This is, if I had a cup noodle I could give you through the screen, I would do so. But yeah, no,
he's probably got some already.
Yeah, it's probably. But yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about if it goes to the judges, yeah, if Gomi winds back the clock, I mean. And Steve here, yeah, great comment. He's a legend. I love him, but all legends die. I hope not, Steve. I hope not tonight. Let him, but
I mean, he's kind of already died. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
for the most part, not to be a downer.
Right? Yeah, he's had some pretty brutal losses before he got that win. Let's be honest here. So. We'll see what happens there, but I hope that we end up getting, another surprise, just like we did with the Shibatar fight. Because I mean, Kuzi demanded it by giving up weight. That's good to know as well. I mean, yeah, I like the matchup, and I want it to be everything I'm hoping it's being. You know what, Steve, get out of here. Get out of here with that. I'm going with Shingo here. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be just, yes. Yeah, I mean, appreciate the comments all night, Steve, but that one, no, don't break my heart. Quit breaking my heart. That's what I'm gonna say.
All right. Let's move it along here. I'm going to take Koji. I'm going to be realistic. As much as we love the Fireball Kid, I'm going to keep it that way. All right. So instead of breaking down Mikuru versus Satoshi, necessarily, because I want to get good time with these title fights here because they're big and important. I'll ask you, Pat, do you think that the loss to Saito was good for Mikuru and, he'll be revitalized going into this attempt at rebounding, or, is Yamasu going to play spoiler once again?
This is a real tough one. I think that Mikuru will rebound here. I think that loss was good. I think it is something that he could definitely take, and this is a very winnable fight for Mikuru, in my opinion. I think he can get this done. Not to say that, Yamasu is a pushover, so to speak, because of course he's not. But Mikuru has these flashes of brilliance. His last loss was rough, but I really think he can rebound here, and I think it can kind of take him to new heights where he takes that loss, he learns from it, and he takes it to the next level. Will he actually do that? I don't know, but that's what I would kind of lean towards, just given the raw talent he has. What about you? Are you with me there? Or do you think Yamasu is going to play spoiler?
No, I think it's definitely possible, but I do think the loss was a very big remotivator, rekindling of the fighting spirit in Mikuru. So I think he will come back, bounce back, and get the win here. But if Satoshi makes him uncomfortable, as we know, that's kind of the key to beating Mikuru, is getting him out of his comfort zone fight and get in his face, pressure him, be very aggressive, similar to how Saito fought and beat him. That's the way to win. But we'll see, right? But I think it'll be safe pick to say Mikuru will rebound here. But yeah, so that is that one. Looking forward to it from the see what happens with that in the featherweight division. overall going forward. But let's talk title fights now because we got big ones, very crucial bouts at atomweight and bantamweight, of course. So let's start with the vacant.
And if I may, before we get into that, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Rizin 26 Intermission Show Part 2. Please please subscribe. Let's get those subscriber numbers up. Let's show them that we love Rizin. Let's show them that we're not Brian Campbell people over here, that we actually care about this promotion and the amazing things they put on. And now, with that being said, Drake, go ahead and dive right in because I had to get my cup noodle shout out.
You had to sneak down in there. I'm not touching it today. But Ayaka Hamasaki, the GOAT, versus the ageless wonder Miyu Yamamoto. Are we going to see the greatest story in MMA history unfold tonight, Pat? Is it going to happen? Are they going to write? Are we going to be writing the script to this movie tonight? Is it happening? Despite her husband losing. And I might have lost him. Folks. So I guess I will answer that question right now. Oh, there he is.
Hey, I'm back. I froze. I'm sorry. You reprimanded.
How much did you hear?
I didn't hear nearly enough. So that's all right. That's okay, though. I was busy taking a cup noodle break. I apologize. But but I'm sure you did a great job. Sorry, did you ask me a question? Is that what
I did. Ayaka Hamasaki, Miyu Yamamoto. Are we going to see the greatest MMA story of all time play out and the final chapter be written? Are we going to be writing the script of this beautiful movie tonight? Is it happening?
Steve says Hamasaki wins, and you know what? I'm a romantic at heart, right? Like you know me, Minowa man. I was all for him. Other well past their prime fighters I've rooted for up until the bitter end. This one, though, is great because this isn't someone who is well past her prime. This is someone who's still, despite her age, is putting on great performances. And Hamasaki is so hard to beat. I mean, this is a tall mountain if you're in your prime at 31, 32. This is going to be very tough, but I believe we're going to get one of the greatest storylines coming to fruition tonight. I think Yamamoto gets it done. I think we get a new champ. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be just the cherry on top of this cup noodle extravaganza. That's what I believe. What say you, Drake?
Well, before I say what, is the story made better, do you think, by Kyle losing? It adds more drama to it instead of him winning, doesn't it? Because he's going to be in her corner.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is
a movie, man. I can imagine seeing this on the silver screen.
This is a movie brought to you by Cup Noodle. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be even bigger, and I'm gonna go yes. My heart is full in on Yamamoto winning this fight, even though my brain may disagree.
Right.
I'm also expecting it to be an awesome fight regardless, right? I don't think you get those two women in the ring. There's no way that this isn't a great fight. I think it's gonna be fantastic for as long as it lasts. If it ends with a finish or it goes to decision, what have you, I think it's gonna be a fantastic bout. And I don't think you're going to get a blowout by either woman here. I think this is going to be a real back and forth. Do you agree with that? Or do you think we could see, Hamasaki just rolling through Yamamoto or vice versa?
If there's a roll through, it will be by Hamasaki, I think. But no, I expect this to be a good competitive fight and everything. It's crazy because Hamasaki is the younger person in this fight at 38 years old, and then 46 for Yamamoto. And they are both two of the best fighters on the planet, regardless of division. Hamasaki, as I mentioned, the GOAT and still kicking it, one or two in the world at atomweight, and then Miyu's in the top 5. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, man, because it comes down to if Miyu can control and do her thing with the wrestling, right? Unless she's really, really worked on her striking, which I'm sure she's been making improvements here, and she just has gradually. But to see if she's made a big leap here with all the time off since fighting, I think her last fight was actually last New Year's now, and having not gotten to fight since everything has gone down, being stuck in Guam and all that. But the thing about this fight for me, I love them both. I would hate to see either lose, but it's Hamasaki just has way more ways to win, way more avenues to the victory. Like she's improved so much at this later stage of her career, despite being amazing entirely throughout her career. Like she's been one of those fighters who has never had a brilliant performance, and I mean she has had a brilliant performance, but had one, and then the next fight is a significantly more brilliant one. It's like at the same level, just really slowly gotten to this insanely good level now where it's like, yeah, no big leaps, but you're seeing at this end now, it's like, whoa, she is doing very good. It's still doing very good, for how good she's always been, but just too many ways to win. Miyu has to control her, and then by doing that, she opens herself up to the risk of these crazy submissions that Hamasaki can pull off. And Hamasaki's looking even more violent these days, too. Like, she almost ripped poor Tomo's arm off in her last fight with that Kimura. It's like, it's crazy, man, how good that they both are despite the age. It doesn't matter for them, and I have to go with Hamasaki. I think she'll find a submission in round 2 or 3. She's just too many ways to win. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see the crazy story unfold tonight.
I mean, I hope we do it. And Shingo asked a great question. If Miyu wins, 46 years old, will she become the oldest champion in MMA history? I believe yes, because Randy, I think, was 43.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't.
He wasn't
before 45. Yeah.
Yes. So if Miyu pulls this off, then yes, this is a massive accomplishment for, again, we've already talked about the storyline building into this, but that's another, feather in the cap. I think she would become the oldest MMA, champion. And again, over a very tough
because
fight.
Of who she's beating makes it that much better.
That much sweeter. Exactly. Like this is not, this is not someone that got the belt through other people leaving the promotion or through various, interim things or what have you. This is the legit, fighter to beat if you want to say that you're going to take the belt. Like this is ridiculous. There's no doubt if she gets past Hamasaki, that'd be insane. So I still, am all about that. RIP to Kid as well. Got to respect Crazy B 100% with that. I really want this story to happen. The points you bring up about the different ways for Hamasaki to win versus BU is a very good point. So I won't, push that too much because my house of cards on my dream is slowly, crumpling it. So I'm going to let that be. But if you are just joining us, welcome to Rizin 26 Intermission Show Part 2. We appreciate you being here. Hope you got some cup noodle. Hope you got some other things going on. You're staying ready, getting pumped up for the main event coming, which I believe we still have. If I'm reading this right, another 30 minutes or so is what I'm hearing from the live stream. So somebody double check. Producer Jake.
Shingo's in here.
Yeah, Shingo's in here. But on the live stream, I thought it said it would conclude at 5:30 Eastern. So we're double checking that on that now. But either way, while we're in here, let's take a look at one of the comments real quick. Satayama superfan, I like Kana Sakura via steel chair. That's if only. We haven't figured that out. But yeah, Steve's confirming that for us, 5:30 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you drop your comments and let us know if you got any questions as well. Let us know your fight of the night so far, which fight you're looking forward to the most in the upcoming fights. If you think we're going to get the storyline of a lifetime with Miyu getting that belt, or if you think Hamasaki's going to ruin it all, are you with me? Are you a romantic? Are you just like, yes, we're going to get this done, cup noodle for everybody? Or are you like Drake, who's like, logic and different
I know,
ways
very logical tonight.
So boring, Drake. Ridiculous. That's not the spirit of Rizin on New Year's Eve.
Very true.
Yes. But all right. So we've gone through a lot of these big fights. I mean, let's talk about more. Yeah, we've got. I feel like we've missed one particular fight. I think it's. I wonder what that could be. Shout out to Danny. 10 out of costume. Arguably the greatest costume of all time. Let us know. Do you think so? Do you think this giant cup noodle costume that is currently an inferno in here is the greatest costume of all time? Because I think so. Kabur, intermission, I believe that we have verified. What Well, Jake's still looking. We're either Shingo will let us know, but I believe the stream says 5:30 Eastern.
My stream is blank at the moment, so
that's what mine says. So who knows? Got a brand new system, so it's whatever. Steve chiming in real quick before we get to the main event. His fight of the night was actually Oka versus Takazawa. That's yeah. I mean, fight of the night. I could see that. That was Oka putting it on him until that last round. I don't know. For you, Drake, is there another fight of the night you had besides that one?
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, if you're looking at all these, there's only been 2 that have gone to decisions. There's only been 2 decisions tonight. So if you want to go from a fight, you want to pick a fight that's had the most time, to digest and everything, and just all kind of the momentum shifts. Or I mean, there weren't that many, but towards the end there was the scare and everything. Yeah, that's probably a good pick. As much as I really did enjoy Agwan and Koike there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, there's a couple here that you could go with. I would say we've had some more clean performances than, we've no fight of the year contenders yet, unfortunately. But hey, that's why we have this main event to get into. Yeah. Segue.
Yes, nice segue, Drake. Let's get into the main event. And we are Rise of Pod. Thank you for watching, sir. Yes, Shibatar. That's all you need to say. If you say Shibatar, we all know what you're talking about. What a legend he's becoming. Who knows? The sky's the limit on that one. But that's for another time. Drake, main event time. Roll with it.
Main event time, you guys. Who are you picking? We got Kana Sakura versus the returning former dual organization champion Kyoji Horiguchi, returning from ACL repair after one of the arguably the biggest upset of all time. I'm not going to say it's the biggest, but it is up there. That was huge. Kana Sakura knocking him off at the time to become the star that he is now. Crazy stuff there. We're a year and a half removed, if my time is correct there, and he's just looked better than ever, coming to his own truly as a champion and just a superstar in general. This fight is one of the hardest fights I've ever had to pick. Like, I've gone back and forth a lot with this one. There was what is it? I think it was Cody and TJ. The first fight was the one where I just struggled with picking it. I was like, I have no idea. This is such a coin flip for me. This one is right up there with it. Coincidentally, both bantamweight fights. I've really struggled with this one. I still struggle with it, even though I've made some picks today in the big, long day of podcasting that I've done. But I am so goddamn excited for it that I'm like almost out of energy to get excited for it, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're here, man. Give me your initial thoughts on it, Pat, because people have heard me more than you today, just to toot my own horn.
Yeah, well, we got a list of comments to go through here. Chat is blowing up. If you're just joining us, you're about to hit the main event preview. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Rise and New Year's Eve show. Get some cup noodle with you. Do it. That being said, my initial thoughts on this, I've got to go with Horiguchi. And here's why. He had that surgery, right? And before that surgery, and even after that surgery, he kind of mentioned a little bit, he went into that Kana Sakura fight a little injured. That was at least the takeaway there. And Asakura has looked phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. But he has shown vulnerabilities. We saw Minnow Cape, beat him in what was another big upset. Not the biggest upset like Asakura beating Horiguchi, but it was a big upset. And I think a fully healthy Horiguchi is just a monster. I mean, if you look at what he was accomplishing before, he was dual champion. He never lost the Bellator belt. He had to relinquish it. He's so good. If he's truly healthy, if he's truly healed up, which it sounds like he is, I think he's raring to get back in there. And we saw what happened the last time Horiguchi lost, right? When he lost, he came back as a force. So I think that's what's happening here. I'm going Horiguchi. I believe in the gooch. That's what I'm going with. So, we are rising upon Gucci. I'm curious to see how the fight. That's a good point, though. He's got the injury, but I think he's going to rebound. What are your thoughts?
Great points, man. It is so true everything you said about Horiguchi because this is truly one of the greatest bantam slash flyweights of all time. We got to realize and recognize just what he's done in the run that he was on prior to this. The guy is something else. Like he was counted out against Darian Caldwell not once but twice.
Twice.
And still managed to beat this guy who's a featherweight now. I mean, he is definitely a very special fighter, but I think that Kai is showing that he is as well. Despite the Cape loss, I think that shows more that Cape is very special, and maybe it was more of an off night for Kai, but I don't ever like to play that card too much. Um, yeah, this fight is just so intriguing because, I talked to both of these guys recently, more Kyoji more recently ahead of this fight and everything. And he's just not affected by like big moments or pressure whatsoever, which is just crazy to me, because I asked him how do you compare like the New Year's Eve events to like a UFC title fight, like probably the two biggest platforms you can be on in MMA, like in terms of magnitude, right? And he's like, it's just the same thing in a different place. It's like he's like, I don't really feel any pressure or whatever. I'm like, all right, well, that is very impressive, sir. It's like, and then as for Kai, the thing about this fight for him is all the pressure is on him. Even if Kyoji doesn't feel it, it is on Kai 100%. He's the champion now. He's got to prove that this insane upset was not a fluke. Like everything is on him to show that he's the rightful champion now. And I think that pressure is something that has fueled him in preparation for the fight. He's feeling very motivated and taking this very seriously, very focused. But will that end up being something where he's very hesitant in the ring against this guy who you cannot be that way against him if he's up on his A game and everything? But then if you want to look at the other side of kind of those mental things, even if Horiguchi's not affected by pressure or whatever, will he be a little bit more, not fearful, but this time around, he's going to respect the power and striking ability of Kai, who's improved his striking since that first matchup where he was knocked out in 67 seconds, mind you. Will he be afraid of that? And I think, well, not afraid, but, respect it more. I think that he will, which will result in him deciding to grapple a bit more in this fight. And, Kai has pretty good takedown defense and everything, but he's no grappler or wrestler by any stretch of the imagination. He prefers to strike, as we've seen, soccer kicking everybody's head off this year. And so the smart move for Horiguchi, who is from one of the best camps in the world, ATT, I think that will be a game plan they will devise and try their best to utilize. And if he can successfully do that, or just, be aggressive with that game plan, he should be able to pull off the win. That's kind of the conclusion I've come to here. But if he plays around on the feet, which I think he definitely will, Horiguchi's phenomenal on the feet, his lateral movement, all that, his speed, power, precision, he's just excellent. He gave Tenshin a run for his money. He gave Tenshin maybe the closest fight we've ever seen Tenshin have, aside from, I'm not even going to mention it. You know where I was going to go with that. That doesn't count. That's where's the Men in Black thing? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So with that considered, I think if it stays purely striking, Kai very well could ice him again. But Horiguchi is going to show that he is still Horiguchi. But it's such a coin flip for me, man. I think it's going to be all over the place as long as it lasts. I think it'll be a decision for Horiguchi, but it's madness. I still don't even feel that confident in that pick.
yeah. And we are Rising Pod. We will get to that comment in a minute because he's given us a little bit of a matchup there, which
excellent.
I want to go into. But before that, Steve Sparks had said a while back, you can get Horiguchi right now at -115. So does that change your mind at all? Let's not talk about who's going to win. Okay. Is that a good betting line for Horiguchi? I am inclined to say yes, because I hear what you're talking about with Kai being a threat and all of that, but -115 for Horiguchi,
rare odds for him.
Yes, extremely rare odds for him. So I think, regardless of how I'm thinking, I think that's an edge. I think that's a bettable line myself. We can't legally tell you to bet. Gotta say that. But if you were a betting man, I know that hypothetically I would look at that. Does that sway you one way or the other?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
All right. I like it.
I have never bet on a fight before. I've thought about it plenty of times, and I think I've tried to actually, but in Washington it's been legal for like all my life. Illegal, that is. I don't know. Probably. I'm not the best person to ask about that kind of thing,
Fair
but
enough. Fair
I
enough.
like what you're bringing to the table, Steve and Stat Pat here.
Yeah. And thank you, Uncle Joey's MMA edits.
We're
We
trying.
appreciate it. We're trying. And if you're just joining us again, like and subscribe. Welcome to the Rise of 26 Intermission Show Part 2. We've got another 17 minutes or so before the show kicks off. Sorry, it is super early, and I've not been up this late in a long time. So with that in mind, let's take a look at some of these comments. Let's go back to We Are Rising Pod's comments here. What match do you think is better? The matchup between Inoue versus Kai or Inoue versus Horiguchi? This is a great question. So, I don't know. I want to hear your initial thoughts on this one before I speak my piece.
That is a very good question because of the reality of we could see one of those things. But I will say, I think it is if Horiguchi wins tonight, you have to do that trilogy fight. It's just you can't not. Maybe it's not next, depending on how it happens, but you gotta see that. You gotta put that together if you're Ryzen, and that fight is absolutely massive. This fight's already massive as is for the rematch, the trilogy. Chef's kiss again. I've got 2 out here tonight, so but just in terms of what's a better matchup. Boy, it's funny too because you look at like Inoue versus Kai, for example. These are 2 super lanky bantamweights, and I had the same thought like for Sasaki and Kenta. You're like, damn, these are some big ass long bantamweights. Like it's kind of crazy that they're the weight they are, especially this new Hulk Sasaki.
Yeah,
but Kai and Inoue, that reminds me a little bit of that same look. 2 big tall guys for the division. I think that one would probably be more fun. Honestly, I feel like Kyoji matches up is a fairly bad matchup for Inoue. But yeah, it's interesting to throw him in against either of those guys. They'd both be great for their own reasons, of course. But from what we saw from Inoue tonight, I think the Kai one might be more fun for me. But I don't think either's a bad one. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree pretty much fully with what you said. I think Inoue versus Kai is the more enticing matchup. I think their styles make for a great fight. I think, as you mentioned, Horiguchi is just a stylistic matchup for, well, just about anybody, but especially Inoue. and while that could be an exciting fight, and I think it would be great, and if Horiguchi ends up, beating Kai here, clearly that I am all about that fight. Inoue versus Horiguchi again, yes, all day. But in terms of what I think would be a little bit new and exciting would be Inoue versus Kai, and I think that could end up being a banger of a fight, especially with the way Kai likes to just go after it, right? Like that. And what we saw tonight, Inoue, it's that to me is I want that to happen regardless of who wins this fight tonight. If Kai loses, then sure, do Inoue versus Horiguchi, and then either have Inoue fight Kai because he's lost to Horiguchi and they've both lost to him, or if he's won the belt and he has that again, he's defended it now, he's true champion, all that, then have him defend against Kai or Inoue. Yes, duh. Sorry, it's again very. Very early for me, late, whatever you want to call it. Thank God I took the day off of work because I would be screwed right now. I'd be showing up to Zoom calls and this shit, just like cup noodle and not even care.
You're telling me you don't do that already, Pat? Since that thing arrived.
All right, you just call me out, but yes, it's true. And again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much. And if you've been here the whole time, again, thank you so much. We love you guys. This is why we're here. Drop us some questions and comments. Anything before we start just diving into these questions and anything else that pops up, Drake, about the main event, anything we need to cover real quickly about that?
Well, first off, shout out to Steve who hit the subscribe button. Hey, we're giving all the shout outs to you guys. Come on, get in that get us to 1,000.
Get us to it that we're trying to hit that 1K. We want to do it off of Ryzen. We want to,
yes.
Brian Campbell he apologized. That's all great. Well, whatever. But let's prove him wrong. Let's prove him that there's a reason that people watch this show, this New Year's Eve show, because it's fight of the year contender. It's event of the year contender. It's all it's why we're here, right? I mean, come on. And Nick, I'm just alone and deliriously tired. Need some interaction from Nick Virgin. Yeah, dude, that's most of my days. Luckily, Drake does that for me.
It is 2 hours away from my bedtime.
Yeah, yes, because Drake is a vampire. Yes, it's breaking news. You heard it here first. Drake is actually a vampire.
I finally confirmed it. All your suspicions were true, everybody.
Yeah, and obviously not a Twilight vampire, all that shit. Like we're talking like 90s like whatever that movie was with Dracula and Gary Oldman and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. We're getting way too sidetracked.
Oh yes.
Right.
But that's Rise in New Year's Eve, baby.
It's true. Rise in New Year's Eve.
What's your favorite vampire movie, you guys? Drop it in the comment below.
Drop your favorite vampire movie in the comment. Drop your favorite type of
Yes,
but yeah, sorry.
Final comments on the main event. I don't know, man. I'm just very excited for it. I think I mean, we covered it up pretty good. It's just a crazy matchup. I don't know what's gonna. Yeah, I've been talking about it so long since it happened. I still don't know what's gonna happen. So
yeah, and our producer just let me know this.
Breaking news!
Breaking news! We're talking about Rizin having a show on March
27. Oh wait, 27? March. Maybe not. March 14th? I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's 27. It could be.
That's news to me, Jake, who's saying it's not breaking.
Well, it's breaking to us. So yes, Rizin coming back March 14th. I mean, I'm looking forward to a quick turnaround for this promotion. The sooner the better. If we can get that moved up, that'd be great. If not, keep it in March. Colleen asking, how much coffee and booze are you guys drinking? That's a great question, Colleen. Oh man, I'm on Coffee Pot. First of all, just so you know this, and Drake can attest to this, I am an old man. I go to bed at like 10 p.m. my time, and it's 4:20 right now. So I'm on Coffee Pot number 4. I'm staying away from the booze because I would be passed out, and Drake would be doing the show alone. Drake, what coffee or booze pot are you on at this point?
I'm not a coffee person in general, honestly. I have enough in my my body and energy. This young hip man over here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I was considering drinking the twisted pea that I had earlier, but I never got around to it. So I'm fueled off water right now.
Wow.
And that's just how I roll. As we said, vampire boy over here. It's
vampire boy is fueled off water. Person that's normal and older is fueled off of a ton of coffee and barely hanging on by a thread. So that's all right. We're here. We love it. I'm super glad we get to do the show with you guys. Again, if you're just joining in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get us to 1K. Show them that Rizin is the way. Any other questions?
Ooh.
Anything at all? Floor is open. Is wide open. Hit us with them. We got about 9 minutes or so. Interview with a Vampire. Try it out. It's high and tight. That is a solid movie. You got some freaky stuff going on there. But yes, you got I forget if is it Kirsten Dunst is like a little girl who's like a mortal vampire who's like older than everybody, but she's actually like a little girl.
I haven't seen that one.
You got Tom Cruise, you got Brad Pitt, you got to get on that. If you're a real vampire,
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen the full thing. I've seen a little bit of it, but
right. It's just been a century since you've seen it because you're a vampire, of course.
Right. I think my favorite vampire movie is probably Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. No, I mean that's a fun one though.
To steer the conversation back to while we're here, and we will get to the Underworld's superior leather bodysuit game because you are correct, sir. So we'll come back to that. But Drake, since we have a little bit of time, so we got the viewers, tuned in here. I believe you have a show that you do, where you might, kind of broaden some people's. What am I thinking here? Could you drop that show for us? What's that show you do?
Of course. You're lining me up for the shameless plug here. Yes, you guys, if you were not aware, I am the host of this show called Broadened Horizon, where I like to think of broadening the horizon a bit of the MMA sphere, where I speak with all your favorite Ryzen superstars and Japanese, speaking MMA fighters. That is over on myMMAnews.com and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. The help of Mr. Shingo Kashiwagi, who has been popping in here with the translations and all that. We speak to, everybody you could think of, trying to get all the interesting voices out there. So many people that I've spoken to in these 6 episodes of 2020 so far have fought tonight and, are involved with the event and everything. So definitely something I would recommend checking out, not just because it's my own thing, my baby, essentially, but because it's a good source for, catching up and hearing from these fighters who don't get as much exposure over here in the, western part of the world. So very fun show. 6 episodes down for 2020, you guys. 24 guests in total. 4 per episode is what we've been rolling with. Then we do fan questions at the end of it every episode. And yeah, just a good old time, and tell me
great old time.
Great old time. Tell me who you'd like to see in 2021 on the show, because that's a question that I think is fun, and give us some ideas. But check that out, please. Would love the support and appreciate all the support that it's gotten so far, because very, very close to the heart.
It's well earned, sir. It is well earned, and we've got a couple of comments in here. JR Smile. He parlayed Hamasaki, Mikuru, and Ryan Garcia.
Wow.
Ooh, I mean.
That seems like a good one to me.
Yeah,
I don't know who Ryan Garcia is fighting or follow boxing, but I know he's good.
yes, and for an MMA take on it, we've got Steve Sparks, who's got Hamasaki, Mikuru, and Gooch. Okay, I like that.
That one's good too.
I like that, especially Gooch at -115, and then you're gonna add those 2 for the parlay. Right. That is I'm all about that. I like that parlay a lot. I still don't believe it's going to happen. I hate to rain on your parade, Steve, because Miyu's going to pull off the story of a century. But in terms of sound betting advice, yes, you've done a good job. Because I over here have no actual concrete evidence that this is going to happen. I just believe. So, that's just me. Let me know if I'm just way off base. Somebody agree with me here that Miyu's going to pull this off, because I really want it to happen. But then we got let's see here. Oh, we got I'm gonna Fazal Al Qarashir. I am so sorry if I butchered that name, but that's how we feel in Arabia, UK. Most of the shows start at 5 a.m. Yeah, that's a good point. Really shouldn't be complaining, because you guys put up with this all the time. So you know what? Thank you for putting me in my place. I'm just an old grumpy man, and you are correct. Yeah, I'm being a little whitey baby here, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop doing that, because you are right, sir. You guys have it so much worse. Steve saying Miyu is too sad to wait. I don't believe you, Steve. We got 2 Steves now.
I want to bring let's talk about that real quick, as we got some time left here, because just another little element of that fight, which we did gloss over with Kyle Agwan, who lost to Koike. The thing about that is why I don't think it'll be much of a factor, as people have already been mentioning on Twitter and everything, rightfully so. The husband effect, and the way he lost, getting finished for the first time and everything. I think that definitely adds a bit more to what I'm about to say and everything. But she's fought 4 times on the same card as her son Urson, and they've only both won together 1 time. So one of them is lost on all the other ones, and I believe it's usually been Urson, if I'm remembering correctly. But she's been fine winning, with her son losing, which I would imagine is worse than her husband, but I don't know. It's the first time that she's going to have to do this. So with that considered, Pat, what do you think about that thing?
I mean, for me, it doesn't affect it, because as you said, I feel like Miyu is focused on her fight, right? Although you've got, in this case, I will ask you this, because I know you'll know, because Aguilar is going to be in her corner for this one, right? And her son was not in her corner for any of the others, was he?
He was.
Or am I wrong on that? Oh, he was. Okay. So then, then there you go. Write this off as whatever. That's fine. Because Miyu, it clearly is able to get things done, regardless of if a quarterman just lost earlier on in the night.
And age and the family deaths, and I mean, for everything pretty much.
I mean, Miyu, the dude, if you look at just the fact that Miyu has gotten to this level, as long as she puts on a good performance, which I believe she will, that in itself is a great story. I think that is a big deal. I think her being able to get to this level at this age and just putting on those performances, I mean, shout out to me regardless of what happens.
It's her story is still worth like a documentary or movie, I would say. They could make something good out of that for sure. But it definitely is all the crazier if she gets the win.
Yes, and I do want to say, Steve, I'm going to butcher your last name. Steve C is what I'm going to say. Subscribed early in the first show. Shout out to Steve for that. We really appreciate it. If you have public subscribers on, you subscribe to us, let us know. We will shout you out. We appreciate you. We will forever, I'll wear the cup noodle costume as many times as you need me to. That's what I will say.
Yeah, don't forget Nick Bergen.
Oh yeah,
Nick Bergen too.
Of course. Yeah, and speaking of Nick Bergen, real quickly because we're getting close to the end here. We got so many comments coming. We appreciate that. But what are your takeaways thus far? Like philosophically, I like fighting in the ring. I don't. I thought women's MMA and the UFC was low quality. We're spoiled. Interesting. I'm not. I'm trying to piece this one together. So.
He's kind of insulting women's MMA is what I'm gathering, and saying the quality is not good.
Yes, he's kind of insulting women's MMA. We will. I'm gonna, and Shun. Shout out to Shun. Appreciate you for watching from JP. We appreciate that. We're glad you're watching. We love that. To go back to Nick's thing, I will address the ring comment. I'm going to leave the women's MMA comment alone. The ring one, I'm with you. I think I don't like fighting in a ring as much because multiple times tonight we've seen where refs have to push them in, or there's been like a little bit of grabbing or a little bit of using the ring. I think I was kind of okay with it before this, but I feel like tonight has shown me that I really prefer kind of cage or some solid structure there, or a moat. I like that moat fight going on. For those of you who've seen that, I like a moat. But yeah, so it's I think I was saying that women's MMA in Japan isn't as good as the U.S. compared to Amanda and Valentina. Oh, okay. Cause I
Okay. Hold on. This is something that I could rant about here for a second. Let me give you just because I have some strong feelings about this whole entire thing, but I'll keep it short as I can. And my initial reaction to this is, you're comparing Amanda and Valentina, two of the very best right now, are probably the two best in the world right now, to what we've seen already in the high schooler fight, for who did see that, and then Kana and I, who are two of the best in the world as well. Kana more so established than I and everything. Styles make fights as well. I'm just, if you're gonna compare, throwing that comment in there right now makes me believe you're making the comparison of what we've seen tonight into the very best, which I don't think is necessarily fair, especially when we have this title fight coming up here, which is one of the best ever in Ayaka versus Miyu, who is up there as well. In terms of right now, not ever or anything, but I don't think that's fair necessarily. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and one important thing to point out here, especially because Dana White has just talked about opening up an atomweight division. Apparently, this is a very new thing with the Schmo, and there's all that. One thing you want to understand is too, when you're looking at this stuff, UFC doesn't have atomweights right now, right? That's very important to know. If you look at the atomweight division, if they open it up in the UFC, I would imagine that these girls would probably be being looked at by the UFC in terms of being like, hey, let's go ahead and pull them. Like that is, and I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and if you're comparing, Amanda and Valentina to these women, yeah, we're talking about two of arguably the greatest women of all time. I would say, I'm going to take out the arguably. We're talking about two of the best women fighters of all time. They will be GOATs from here on out. I can't imagine they won't be. So, I see what you're saying, Nick. I appreciate the thought behind it. I do. And I get what you're saying, because even then, stiffness and striking things. Yeah, I mean, they're not the most polished strikers. I'm not going to deny that at all.
Oh, they're both lifelong wrestlers. That's their background.
Yes, and that's a very good point too. They're both lifelong wrestlers, and yeah, I mean, you want to look at some unpolished striking. I still think they're better strikers than Ben Askren. I will say that.
I actually rewatched the Maya fight last night. I did rewatch it last night.
Yeah, and oh man. And so show is Puruguru's asking here, when is the show turning back? It's getting really getting really close to that here. But he's also asking, what are the chances the fight was a work?
Shibatara?
Shibatara? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like that comment because it ran through my head. It did. I won't lie.
I like how he's all capitals with that.
Yeah. What are the chances that fight was a work? I'm gonna say it was probably low, just because how much, this can't be good. This has to be not a career ender per se for Hiro, but I mean, it's very bad to lose to a YouTuber. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine that was a word. Drake,
no.
Any suspicion of it?
No. I mean, okay. And if it was to have been, I think it would have been because of not calling the tap when it happened. Because upon replay, when they did the announcement, looked like the referee totally saw that. So, when that did happen at first, I was kind of like, that's interesting that, he didn't call it. That would have been the only work part of it. I don't, but I don't think that's just such a. I think especially in this age, like people can maybe get away with that more in the past and all, but I don't think that's something that Rizin would do, even though this was quite a unique thing that they did do, and some of the stuff that they do, but no. I mean, it did run through my mind because of that little instance, but they righted it, so it's like no, it wasn't. They wanted Shibatara to get knocked out brutally. That's he said that going in, like
yeah. Yeah, and Steve saying he fed him that arm. Yeah, but I mean I think that's just more a kickboxer not knowing what to do on the ground, right? I don't think that's a work.
There was no tap in that fight, Puguru. There was no tap in that fight. Yeah.
And we got a man DJ Elbracabra. Man, I'm way too tired to read names right, so apologize. For top fighters, is Rizin an option? How big are their coffers? Have they just focused on being a Japanese organization? Is there a future we can see a viable competitor? That is a great question, because I would say that it already is a organization for top fighters. If you look at, I get what he's saying in terms of, right, we've seen Jiri and Manel go over to the UFC.
Kanako.
Yeah, that too. And I mean, it's one of those things where I think that Rizin is a great organization where we can still see some of the best competitors in the world. I think if a top guy wants to be here and is okay with fighting less often, because that's another thing, right? Rizin's not putting on shows as often as the UFC is. And while you do have a lot of the similar competitors and all of that, it's not a $4 billion, $5 billion organization, right? It's just not. That's never been the point of Rizin. If you look at, the Federation and what they were trying to accomplish, it was to, bring together some of the best fighters of the world, have them compete. I think that there's still very much a platform to do that. I think when you see Bellator, have their champion come over and Horiguchi beats him and holds the Bellator belt at the same time. I think that right there should answer your question. I think Rizin is a platform for top competitors, and it is an option. Do competitors want to do that necessarily, depending on their financial aspirations or what they're looking for in their career? Not necessarily, right? I mean, I understand that, especially if you're depending on where you live and what you're trying to accomplish. No, I mean, maybe they don't want to come here, but I think Rizin is easily a top organization and is one of the better ones. When we talk about the big guys, I consider Rizin as part of that group. I don't consider them a LFA or a group that is all about bringing in and kind of feeding people to Bellator and UFC. No, I consider Rizin as being up there. Drake, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you pretty much nailed it, man. You stole it from me on that one, which I'm glad you did. You said it very well. Yeah, no, Rizin, I think, is without a doubt one of the top 5, promotions in the world. You can organize them however you want between, I think, UFC, Bellator, Rizin 1, PFL. PFL has got enough talent over there to be in that top 5, I would say. I think it's easily them. Organize them how you want. Well, I maybe throw KSW in there too as the 6, I guess. But those are the big dogs. I don't know if there's much question about it. And you just look at this card tonight and some of the fighters that we've seen. And of course, this year has been more of a tough thing for people to look at and be like, well, are they that good? Just because it's been strictly Japanese, because you look at it in the past when things are all normal, they do have plenty of international talent coming in and out and everything. And even the lightweight champion right now is Tofik Musayev. I mean, I guess he's technically not the lightweight champion at the moment. He was the tournament champion and everything, but Azerbaijan, that guy is absolutely phenomenal and a killer. And can't wait to see him back and everything as soon as we can. So yeah, they have plenty of good guys. We just haven't seen them, well, we mentioned the Yuris and the Capes and everything. People are starting to go other places from here and prove how good things are. And even we've seen, if you want to do the trickle down effect of Caldwell losing to Horiguchi and then Kai beating Horiguchi and then, Cape again, you bring up Cape who beat up Kai. It's like, you can do that way math with that to say who is worthy of being in this conversation as, very top talent. So, I think it's a question, and you said it very well there.
Thank you. Well, the walkouts are about to start. We really appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching right now and you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, do it. If you have, we thank you so much. We got the Cup Noodle going. We got the main events coming up. It's going to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, rapid fire. We're going to do this right now. Okay, Steve C says, Perugu says, do you think Tenshin is the best pound for pound kickboxer in the world? Oh, that's very tough. I'm going to say no. Oh, okay. Drake says yes, I say no. All right, there you go. I think he's up there. I think he's on his way. I don't think right yet, but fair enough. Let's look here. Steve C says that they're better than one. Rise is better than one. Yes, I agree with that 100%. That's my personal opinion. I think one's great, but I think Rise is a little bit better myself. Drake, what do you think? Yes, no?
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, the roster's a lot bigger. They do a lot more things, I suppose, more shows and everything like that, but I personally do prefer Rizin as well for a multitude of reasons, which we don't have time to get into.
Yes. And Nick B, I love the varying rules. I wish other promotions would try it. Varying rules, soccer kicks, all that in other promotions. Yes or no? I go yes, hard
Phenomenal.
yes.
Love it.
Yes. All day, sir. All right, I think that's Minuteman. You know what? Saying the Minuteman the GOAT. I know this was up here in Flash and we were talking, but yes, Minuteman is the GOAT, and it makes me miss the Pride days too. But you know what? This is Rizin, and this is great, and you should love it because the Pride days had plenty of issues, as we know, with their downfall. So Rizin is not that, which is wonderful. All right, I think that's all the comments. I'm looking through here. If I missed your comment, let me know. Shout it out. Otherwise, thanks again so much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to watch the rest of the show in this thing. It's going to be hot. I don't really care. Nick Burgett says, until Cosmo kills your breadwinner. That's a great... Oh, man, where is Sage Northcutt? That's a great question. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at alldayoj. I'm more on Twitter. That's ALLDAYAUGER right there. Drake, you can find him at
going the wrong
Drake
way.
Riggs. It's that's the wrong way. It's the wrong way. We're so tired. We're so tired. We appreciate you being here. Enjoy the walkouts. Enjoy the violence. Drake, anything to add as we wrap this one up?
Happy New Year's to all, and
Happy
fuck 2020.
Yes, fuck 2020. Happy New Year's, everyone. Let's end it with a bang. Catch that awesome 5-fight combo coming right at you here at Rizin. Thank you again so much. We love you guys. Can't wait to do this again. Thanks, everybody, and Happy New Year.